All right, it is the new year for New Game Plus. I didn't even realise that was going to work, but it did. And so it's time to discuss what you can do to, I don't know, rejuvenate your life, be a new you. It's a new year, new you. And I've decided to bring both Matt and Jamie, Matt and Donald, I should say, to discuss.
How dare you?
I know, Ring
We're
Fit
sitting
and
here
Brain.
playing with each other's rings, and you sit there
Look.
completely
Okay,
botching the intro.
get them out of your system now because
Okay.
the ring jokes are. Okay, cool. Yeah,
Okay,
hands
we're
up.
good. We're good.
Hands up.
I'm fine.
All right.
I'm fine.
All right.
Okay.
So we figured we would discuss probably two of the most recent Nintendo games that have. I guess one is an old classic and it's coming back, and one has just kind of taken. It's done for the Switch what kind of Wii Fit did for the Wii, and that is Ring Fit. Ring Fit has been an absolute phenomena when it comes to people playing it and actually taking it somewhat seriously as like a weight loss device.
No, yeah, like, and that's the thing, like, Wii Fit was kind of like an introduction to sort of gamifying exercise, but ultimately it was kind of just a mini game compilation with the scale attached.
Yeah.
This one commits much more to the bit in trying to get you back and regularly exercising. Well, with the incorporation of a full RPG campaign, like complete with a storyline in which you try to take down this giant bodybuilder dragon.
And you play with each other's rings.
Also,
So
yeah.
it's
Sorry, now I'm done. Now I'm done.
Yeah.
so it's like what's Street Pass, but you like instead of just randomly bumping into people on the street, you actually have to like exercise.
No, it's more like you run on trails. Along the way, you'll run into enemies. You'll then have to use exercise to try and defeat. So, so this enemy is weak to leg exercises. So do 30 squats, you. This one is weak to arm exercises. So do some tricep curls. Why don't you?
It's squeezy time, right? Okay.
Yeah, and along the way, it either has the RPG trappings of you're leveling yourself up, you're building out a skill tree, and I almost said that your body, even your character model is sort of getting more buff as you level up.
Yeah, right.
Little
Yeah.
attention to details like that are cool.
Yeah.
And I think that the key of this, like compared to what Wii Fit probably didn't get right, and why so much of the game was pretty much like stopped right there. There was no longevity. Was just the fact that they've gamified this game a lot better than say some of the other fitness games that Nintendo has kind of dabbled their feet into.
Yeah,
so
right.
I think Ring Fit Adventure, as far as everything goes, this is probably their most cohesive attempt yet.
Well, because that was always the meme. Was always like you had Wii tennis in nursing homes, like Wii Sports. You had the tennis in nursing homes,
Yeah.
and Mum had the Wii Fit board that she was then selling for $5 10 years later at some
Yeah.
garage sale. So it was like it never really got the attention, and I guess the specific kind of proper gamification that seems like Ring Fit has.
Yeah, and I think it's honestly much better keeping you engaged, keeping you involved, keeping you invested as well. Again, the story mode's all silly. It's silly enough that people can just throw their suspension of disbelief out the window and go, yeah, you know what, this is kind of cool, but hey, you know, it's still cheaper than a gym membership for an entire year, so...
Although I can also see this falling the same way of like, it'll just sit in the corner gathering dust alongside your treadmill and your hopes and dreams of a new year.
Or
with you.
someone will program it so people will actually be doing speedruns of Dark Souls
They
while playing
really,
with this.
there is actually a speedrunning community that is being formed for Ring Fit Adventures.
course
I
there
think,
Of course!
yes, to complete the game, apparently the record is like 19 hours at the moment. And there's this footage of someone like who's like 3/4 of the way through a stream, but they're just broken because they've been exercising for 12 hours straight. But they're like the game is kind of just compelling in that regard. Like, can keep you going. And even as an exercise thing, like there are themes to each of the worlds. So like this world is leg world, so you'll spend a while concentrating on your legs. This world is yoga world, so you can focus, so you can worry about that. Like
My favorite is
it's like
Glutes World.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh, don't
Hands
tell,
up.
yeah, don't tell me about those what's called those wide squats.
Don't tell you about the white spots, Donald Duong 2020.
Yeah, but like it does feel like there was some thought to the exercise. It almost as if the game is giving you an exercise regime, so you're targeting different areas of your bodies in each session. So it's well thought out.
One only quick thing I would say to that is that it seems like obviously as a result then it's more cardio and core strength. You're not, obviously you can't lift to it, you know what I
No,
mean? 'Cause,
like
yeah.
at most you're doing body weight level exercise. So it's definitely not going to be an exercise replacement. You're not going to get swole as a result of this,
Yeah.
but it's a good supplement on a rainy day, or it's a good gateway drug towards getting into the habit of exercising.
Well, I think it's like an off day thing when you know, if you want to go lift and be a big boy, then you go do that on the 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, you
where
can do that.
and then you just supplement it with that. I guess the other thing,
like my what's it called? My cartoonish sway there. Arms here to show that I'm not that, but
Yeah.
I'm very much committing to this whole Ring Fit Adventure regime, and I'm enjoying it.
One other one we should mention is brain training.
Yes.
So Dr. Kawashima's brain training, which always came across as something legit, but it really wasn't. And basically, it was a mixture of Sudoku at a time when Sudoku was a big deal, and just a lot of like little quick, snappy exercises designed to train your brain. Was the argument? What's your brain age?
Yeah.
It's like sounds like you're just like harvesting down at the mortuary. But like, I guess have you guys had much chance to play much of Dr. Kawashima?
So I've actually played more brain training than I have with Ring Fit Adventure.
Yeah.
So I personally prefer.
So you went mage as opposed to warrior.
Yeah, like I prefer logic and intelligence over the physics of the man. So
Give me your milk money.
Yeah,
Well
so
done,
I'm a big fan of that. So it's very similar to the DS version. Devilish Brain Training was a bit more kind of like if you really are a bad dude and you really want to challenge them, go nuts. And Brain Training is kind of like a return to form, so the original DS version, where you've got a whole bunch of these exercises, like pick the highest number, do
Basic
calculations
math,
very quickly,
Yeah.
basic calculations immediately, your times tables, all that sort of stuff. There's a lot of mini games that have returned, and then there's also new ones which take advantage of the IR sensor on the right Joy-Con,
Right,
which allows
okay.
you to do stuff like
So
this.
it's not just shaving in 1-2 switch anymore.
Not just shaving in 1-2 switch or eating like.
Yeah.
There's actually things involved like having to do a bunch of like finger calculations. So you
Yeah.
do like you see 2, and then you have to go 4. The
right.
tracking is surprisingly good. Even with particular games where you got to do like a rock paper scissors, and like the game will tell you to lose or tell you to win or tell you to draw immediately.
right.
Really fun stuff. Very accurate IR representation. However, I wish the same that could be said for the actual the algorithm that's
Stylus.
used for reading numbers. Because
Oh, right, okay.
enjoy having to re-enter 4, 9, 6s all the time because it feels like it's the technology that's been ripped straight from the 2005 version.
Yeah.
And sometimes it messes your calculations up.
Well, because
and
that was
messes
it
up
used to be
completely.
okay on the thing because it was obviously instead of being haptic feedback or like tactile feedback, it was pressure. So it was
I
like
feel like it's worse.
yeah,
Actually,
I was
than
going to
the
say
DS
because it's a
version.
touchscreen. It's a capacitive touchscreen and not a resistive touchscreen.
Yes.
It will be worse because it's using the wrong technology to pick it up. So, but I mean, do you still think that it was worth? Do you still think it's worth your time for that kind of the same shenanigans? I know there's multiplayer attached to it now and stuff.
Yeah, the multiplayer's okay. It feels a little bit kind of tacked on, I guess.
Yeah.
Even though like that's the first thing you do when you boot up the game, you immediately see like, would you like to quick play or brain training? So like they throw it straight in your face, but you don't usually touch it because it is a game that is primarily used for one player only.
Yeah.
So again, there's a couple of new exercises that are kind of alright. I do prefer the more legacy ones, and Sudoku also. They give you a crap load of Sudoku puzzles,
nice.
which I'm all about. So I just went straight for that primarily. But as far as everything goes, like again, if you like the DS version, there's a lot there that's still there that's familiar.
Yeah.
The IR stuff you tend to get a bit tired of because the game gives you a choice whether or not you want to jump into it, and then there are times where you just can't.
Yeah.
When you're on the train or whatever, and you look like an idiot doing this or like doing that or something like
I
that.
do that all the time, and I get all the space that I want on the
Whoa,
train.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, look, I guess on that note, it just goes to show you that the Switch is what now it's the Steam console, it's the hentai console, and it's again going to become the normie console. So what is it that Switch can't do?